What's going on, my people? How y'all doing out there? Man, it feels so good to be back with you guys again this week. This is TJ with another episode of The Soapbox, and I'm telling you, man, I feel absolutely wonderful. There's a lot of amazing things going on in the world right now. Probably a lot of amazing things going on right in your neighborhood, right there where you are. So don't miss it. Reach out, touch it, get involved, and I'm telling you, man, change is right there in the making. Well, look, I'm not going to hold you guys up no further, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this episode. All right, everybody. Like I said, man, I'm really glad to be back with you guys again. So we're about to round up this whole deal that we're doing with this stress analysis. I'm telling you guys that we've covered a lot of good information, a lot of things that I don't know if everybody really thinks about. But just as a recap, I want to go over some of the things that we've already touched on. So in episode 3, we discussed the whole idea of being able to push through tragedy. Everybody has traumatic events that happen in their lives. And a lot of times when everything collapses, that's when stress starts to pile up on us the most. So it is so important that we are able to face tragic events the way that they need to be faced and dealt with. And it's a lot easier said than done, but understand, if you can learn how to take life's punches and keep moving, you'll be able to eliminate a whole lot of stress in your life. In episode 4, we talked about forgiveness and learning how to forgive people, not just for the things that they do, but the things that they say. As a matter of fact, for just being who they are. A lot of times our personalities don't mesh well, and most people don't understand that a lot of times our differences in personality cause us to be on different sides of situations. And a lot of times it's not that an individual is really trying to do anything negative or malice towards you. It's just that all of us are different. And we have to learn how to forgive people for their position and understand that if a person is not necessarily trying to do you harm, maybe they just have an opinion that differs from yours, then that's every individual's right. And you have to be able to live with the fact that you guys are not on the same page. In episode 5, we talked about being grateful. And I stressed to you guys that being grateful, having an attitude of gratefulness and approaching things, being appreciative of what life has presented to you that is good, is probably one of the best ways to approach any day, any situation, no matter what the situation is. Now, again, we're not necessarily thankful and grateful for the hard times or bad times, but we are grateful for what we build out of those, all of the good things that come from them, and all of the ways that they strengthen us and make us better than what we were before. And then in episode 6, I talked to you guys about best investments and understanding how not to waste your time, because a lot of times we put so much effort into people, places, and things, and then sometimes those things just don't manifest the way that they should, or a person doesn't seem to appreciate you for all that you bring to the table. But a lot of times the mistake is we've chosen to invest in the wrong people or the wrong actions, and we need to make sure that we're assessing ourselves and our situations so that we can make sure that we're putting our time and effort and energy and resources in the right direction. So today, we're going to focus on an area that pretty much combines everything that we've talked about so far. We're going to kind of put the icing on the cake as far as it goes with this stress situation. So to start off, I'm going to talk to you guys about hamsters. Okay, now I know that might seem a little strange, but trust me, roll with me, and we're going to get to a certain spot. I promise you. So hamsters are a great pet. I mean, they're not like dogs. They don't run all over the place. They're not like cats. They're pretty much kind of stationary for the most part. People normally buy pens or some type of tank to put them in, and they give them all these toys. Well, amongst those toys, usually you have what's called a hamster wheel. Now, on that hamster wheel, what happens is that the hamster finds its way to that wheel. It gets on the wheel and it begins to run. And it runs and it runs and it runs and it runs, and the wheel keeps spinning over and over and over and over again. What the hamster doesn't realize is that while it's doing all this running, while it's exerting all of this energy, it's not going anywhere. It's literally in the same spot that it was in when it got on the wheel. Sometimes people even go as far as dressing the hamster wheel up with little bushes and small trees and toys and all kinds of things. And every day the hamster gets up and he gets on that wheel and he runs and he runs and he runs. And that leads us to the point that I want to make to you guys today. One of the biggest stressors that people have in their lives that basically ruins everything that they're trying to accomplish is that they have confused movement with progress. You see, a large part of the stress that some people go through is that they find themselves in a situation that looks like they're in suspended animation. That means that they are constantly moving but in the same spot. This is a major problem. If you look around today, you will see it happening all the time, everywhere. No matter where you look, no matter where you go, there are people that are constantly in this state. See, the problem is so many people have confused movement with actually gaining ground, with them actually making progress in the actions that they want, in the goals that they're trying to reach, in the very efforts that they do on a day-to-day basis with their lives. There are so many people that you can find right now, and I know if you look in your own backyard, if you look on your jobs, if you look in your friend circle, there are so many people that are so busy. They're just constantly doing stuff, constantly moving one place to the next. But then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, what have they really accomplished? See, there's a lot of ways to be stressed. But one of the worst ways that you could run into major stress is doing a ton of work and then sitting back and realizing that all of it meant nothing. Every single thing that you did was simply fruitless. And a lot of times people fall into that category. I'm going to ask you a question. Many of you work jobs that are listening to this podcast, I'm sure. How does it feel to work an entire month, week, 2 weeks? You receive your paycheck, and then in a matter of hours, the vast majority of it is gone. Gone to bills, going to obligations, going to requirements that you've had to take care of, just different things in general. That feeling, although the completeness of making sure that your household is taken care of is great, but that feeling of seeing those dollar signs evaporate is a little disheartening. So imagine this. Imagine that you went to work all month long, every day. And then at the very end of the month, when it was time for them to deposit your paycheck, you look in your bank account and there's nothing there. $0. You didn't receive anything. That is the equivalent of individuals who decide on a daily basis to engage in tons of movement that has done nothing for their progress. See, there's a lot of people that give a lot of lip service to situations. They talk about what they want. They talk about what they'll do. They talk about all these different plans. But then they very rarely do the things that are necessary to make those particular plans and goals manifest. It's kind of like if you said that you were going to grill on your grill. And let's say you planned on doing hamburgers and hot dogs, something simple. So you pull your grill out, you go to the store and you buy everything that you need to make sure that the grill is functioning, whether you do charcoal or propane, whatever the case may be. You set your grill up, you get it going, you get all of the fire going good, and realize you haven't bought any food. You don't have a single thing to put on the grill. See, there's a lot of people that just go about halfway and then they stop. They go about 3/4 of the way and then they stop. You can't be like that because that's movement that's not helping you. Sure, you're getting a little bit further down the road, but you're not completing the task because you're not focusing on the entire goal. Then there are individuals who do the total opposite of that. They'll talk about a plan. They'll talk about a goal, but then they'll do everything other than what they need to do to achieve the goal. I've heard tons of people verbalize their plans. Oh, I'm going to play basketball. Oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Oh, I'm going to write a book. Oh, I'm gonna sing this song. There's so many plans. But then when you look at what they do, none of it matches up. Do you know that the vast majority of the superstars that you see in sports today spent countless hours honing their craft? I mean, thousands of basketball shots that were taken, thousands of catches, thousands of passes, thousands of bleacher runs, only to get to the stage that they're at right now, where their goal was. You have to be able to turn your movement into progress if you want to become the very thing that you are saying that you want to become. If not, you're just talking. You can't sit around and say that you want to be a car salesman if you don't sell cars. You have to do it. You can't talk about it. You have to do the work. And you have to do work that is in the direction of what it is you are trying to accomplish. So what slows us down? What causes us to jump on the hamster wheel? Well, the truth of the matter is we can revisit some of the very same things that we've talked about already. A lot of times we get into situations where tragedy causes us to just move. We're making movements because we fell into some type of situation and we don't know how to get out of it. Or we've allowed some type of blow that life has dealt us to put us in this circle of emotional strain and guilt and frustration, and we just steady spin those wheels over and over and over again. If we learned how to face tragedy better, then we could get off of the hamster wheel of emotional turmoil and move forward into prosperity, move forward into a better situation than what we were previously in. If we would learn how to forgive people, then we wouldn't get stuck in the hamster wheel of resentment and replaying events that people did to us over and over again in our heads and in our hearts, always falling victim back to the emotion of when this person did us wrong, when they said certain things to us, and also for ourselves. If we would learn how to forgive ourselves, then we could get off of the self-guilt hamster wheel where we continuously beat ourselves up over and over again about things that we've done, things that we said, things that we should have done or said and we didn't. So we have to make sure that we're not falling victim to the hamster wheel of self-guilt. Then if we learn to be grateful, then we wouldn't always get stuck on the hamster wheel of trying to go after more, trying to chase stuff simply because it's somebody else's, something that we admire that somebody else has. We wouldn't get caught up on that. We wouldn't get caught up in wanting to look better because we see other people looking better. We wouldn't get caught up in all of the material things that the media shows us, how you should dress, how you should drive, what you should wear when you go to this place or when you go to that place. All those things are created images that put you on that hamster wheel where you're chasing all of those items that, truth be told, you'll never get. I want you to think about something. When was the last upgrade for your cell phone put out? Have you realized that over the last 10 or 15 years that a new version of whatever phone you have comes out in less than a year's time from when it was released? There was one point where you had to wait maybe 2 or 3 years before you got a new version of your phone. Now, before you can even get the wrapper off the box fast enough, there's already a new phone because they know, the media knows, these marketing companies know that you have bought into the idea of having the most up-to-date versions of these material items. So if they can pop another phone out as fast as you bought the other one, they know you're going to buy it. They know you're going to get it. And you get stuck on that hamster wheel going over and over and over again. And the truth of the matter is, the new phone really doesn't work that much better than the last phone. But because of the fact that they've sold you on these grand ideas of change and better pictures and clearer calls, better internet service, then you jump on it. Now, I'm all for efficiency. By all means, if you can give me a piece of technology that is going to make my situation better, then I'm all for that. But a lot of times, there's only one major difference in these changes and upgrades, and it really isn't much. When there's a major leap, then usually I'll go grab that. But beyond that, there's no point, because all you're doing is just falling into the trap that the media wants you to do. And you cannot become a part of that continuously and maintain your push for progression. And then where you invest. A lot of times we get stuck on this hamster wheel of destruction because we are investing time in people who don't care about us. We are investing resources in people who don't appreciate them. We are investing all types of time, effort, and resources into events, places, organizations, and groups that really don't care about our well-being. You need to make sure that you are investing in things that are going to push you forward, people that will push you forward. If not, then you are stuck on the hamster wheel, and you will continue to run that wheel until the day that you transition to your next existence. However, there are a couple of things that we need to elaborate on when it comes down to transitioning from movement to progress. And I want to make these things clear because a lot of times people get stuck in different phases. It's like they have a piece of the puzzle, but they don't quite have all of it. So we want to make sure that we put the whole picture together right now. So first and foremost, we have to talk about aim. And what I mean by aim is, what is your goal? See, a lot of times people get stuck on the hamster wheel because they don't have a goal. When the hamster gets on the hamster wheel to run, most times he doesn't or she doesn't know where they're running. They're just running. There's no destination. There's no point of interest. There's no clear identified goal. And so you have to have that. And you need to have that in multiple levels. You need to have it in multiple facets of your life, because you should have financial goals. You should have social goals. You should have family goals. You should have health goals, physical, mental, spiritual. I mean, you should have a wide array of goals. Now, some of those may not be mind-boggling. As a matter of fact, a bunch of them may very well be sort of normal. But nevertheless, you should have a goal. And that goal will give you a trajectory for where you're trying to get and what direction you should move into. A lot of times people are just busy because they really don't have any direction. They're just kind of grabbing at straws. Whatever pops up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'll do that. That's kind of the way it goes. And you're really being sort of blown wherever the wind blows whenever you're operating in that situation. So you need to be deliberate in your life. Put yourself in a situation where you can actually focus directly on what it is you are trying to accomplish and move towards that. Next is knowledge, because you can have an aim, you can have a goal, but without the knowledge of the goal, then you're still moving in directions that you don't know. And when I say knowledge, what I mean is, do you know what you need to accomplish the goal? See, some people just jump out in the water. You know, I remember when I originally got into the martial arts, I was very young. And at first, I really thought that I could just look at TV shows, watch people, and that'd be enough. But no, you have to actually know what you're doing. Trust and believe. I didn't fare too well in my first few months because I thought I knew more than what I did. And then that turns out to be a very painful situation. And sometimes your situation can be just that. You can jump into something thinking that you know what you need to, and the whole time you don't. And then the situation turns into something that ends up hurting you more than is actually helping you. That's why it's vitally important. If you are going to take on a goal, it's important that you learn about it. What do you need to know to be effective in what you're about to do? I can't think of any job anywhere where they hire you and they just throw you out there, just let you go for what you know. Most places put you through some type of training. And then even after you go through that type of training, then you have to do some type of on-the-job training, because you have to have the knowledge of what it means to be successful in what you are trying to do. Some of the most successful people in the world right now will tell you that they are continuously learning every day. day. They are constantly reading, constantly studying, constantly pushing their mind forward into the next phase of what they need to know to remain at the top of their game. You have to do that too, because life progresses, the world progresses, the people you engage progress. So it is vitally important that you continue to grow in your mindset. If you look around and you notice that the people around you are advancing beyond you, that is usually a clear sign that you did not learn something that you needed to. So ultimately, you need to have knowledge about where you're trying to go and what you're trying to get to. Next is resources. Because of course, you can have a goal, you can learn all the knowledge that you want to know, read all the books, get all the tutorials, anything you want, but you have to have resources to draw on. You have to have resources to use. You've got to be able to utilize something that is going to be the substance that catapults you from one place to the next. So when I say resources, what I mean is do you have what you need to accomplish your goal? Now that can be a wide variety of things. It could be money. It could be actual physical resources like land or supplies. It could be some type of technology. It really all depends on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever the goal is. If I had a goal of trying to lose weight, let's say I was trying to lose 30 pounds. My goal is that. So first I need to gain the knowledge. How am I going to lose this 30 pounds? But then I have to make sure I have the resources. Do I have a workout area where I can basically do what I need to as far as a physical workout routine? Do I have the right foods so that I can carry on a diet? Do I have the proper nutrition elements like vitamins or supplements or whatever the case may be? Ultimately, no matter what goal you are moving towards, you need to ensure that you have the right resources. And then finally, we move to the one part that most people get hung up on, and that is applying. And when I say apply, what I mean is, are you really doing what it takes? Because I know a lot of people come January 1st, they're going to go out and they're going to buy the treadmill. They're going to go out and they're going to buy the supplements. They're going to make the goal of losing weight. They're going to buy the books. They're going to pull the YouTube videos. They're going to buy the videotapes, the CDs, all of the streaming services, download the apps on their phone. They're going to go out and get them an Apple Watch that's going to keep track of their steps. They're going to do all of the legwork that it takes to prepare to lose this weight that they're guaranteeing they're going to lose. And then they're going to go to sleep. And in the first morning that they have decided that they're going to wake up and work out, they're going to get up and they're going to realize, oh man, I just need a few more minutes in the bed. Next thing you know, a few more minutes is going to turn into an hour. Next thing you know, they're jumping up because they only have enough time to get ready to go to work. Then they're going to say to themselves, well, when I get home from work, I'm going to work out. So they go to work. They work all day long. They get home and now they're tired. So tell me, when are they going to start? Or I'll give you another example. They'll get up the next morning and they'll go hard. They'll get on that treadmill and they'll run their miles. They'll get off that treadmill and they'll jump on that weight pile. They'll get off that weight pile and they'll set up their supplements and make a great breakfast. They'll get off work from working all day and then they'll go to sleep. The next morning, they'll feel sore from working out the day before. Now all of a sudden it's, oh gosh, I don't feel like it today. Then the next day, they're a little less sore, but they still feel like they've worked out. Now they're waiting. You're 2 days behind at this point. This is what I mean. If you have made a decision in your mind that you are going to achieve a goal, you need to follow through with it, no matter how rough the road gets. Because let me make something clear to you guys. There is nothing easy about progress. There is nothing easy about success. There is nothing easy about growth. There is nothing easy about elevation. Everything that comes along with you being better comes with suffering, comes with pain, comes with sacrifice. Those are things that you are just going to have to dedicate to yourself and make sure you understand that they are going to happen. But you have to face those things, push through those things, and keep moving forward. None of us, absolutely none of us, are going to get through this life without facing trials. None of us are going to get through the days that are ahead of us without some type of suffering, some type of discomfort. So if you're going to have it anyway, then you might as well go ahead and get something for it. So that means if I'm going to be uncomfortable physically, then I'm going to go ahead and work out, because that way at least I know that if I'm going to be uncomfortable, I'll also be healthy. Look at how many people go through their whole lives and just let their bodies decay. Just let them be, whatever the case may be. And they develop all these different health issues, all these different problems. And at the end of their lives, they exist in a pain-driven, pain-stricken lifestyle. They're taking 1,000,000 pills so that they don't hurt. Half the time, the pills don't stop all the pain. Then their bodily functions begin to deteriorate. All these different things start to happen when it comes down to their heart, their lungs, their kidneys. And truth be told, the vast majority of that could have been completely solved or stopped if they had just agreed to complete the goal of living a healthy life, eating healthier than what they do, and working out. It's that simple. Are you going to be able to be 100% healthy your entire lives? No, by all means. Some people that are the healthiest people in the world still get colds. Some of them still get critical diseases. It happens. But the chances are minimized, and your body functions so much better if you are in a healthy state. Make no mistake about it. You are not going to accomplish a goal without going through some type of struggle. It's not going to be easy, y'all. It's not going to be easy at all. But let me tell you something, and you can rest assured on this. If you focus on that goal, if you push through, at the end of the tunnel, there is a brighter day, a better day, a healthier day, a much less stressful day. You know, one of the biggest issues that we run into when it comes down to being stuck in movement and not progress is we internalize everything. So we set this goal, but as soon as we set this goal, we realize we don't know enough to accomplish it. So then we turn that into an assault, an internal assault on ourselves. Oh my God, I don't know enough. I can never do this. See, when you start talking to yourself like that, you're setting yourself up to fail. Never tell yourself what you cannot do. Never tell yourself what you can't have. Once you start doing that, you start convincing yourself that this is out of your reach, out of your realm. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing is bigger than you. No accomplishment is bigger than you. Every single person that you see now that you admire, every single one of them at one point in time did not have what they have today. There is a very small group of people in this world that are born into wealth. And I'm talking real wealth. Most of the people, 87% of all the millionaires in this world are self-made. That means that they came from the same place that you and I come from. They set a goal, they got the knowledge, they gained the resources, and they applied it. That is the formula. So stop internalizing every single roadblock that you run into. Don't get the knowledge and then look around and say, but dog, I don't have the money. Okay, then go get it. Go get whatever it is that you need. But don't sit in a pool of self-pity simply because you ran into a roadblock when it comes down to the resources. And then when you start to apply all of these different elements, you are going to run into other opposition. There are going to be people who envy you. There are going to be people who are jealous of your position. There are going to be competitors who are going to want to stand in your way because you are taking a piece of their pie. There are going to be some people who just don't want you to have simply because they don't have. There are going to be situations where you lose. There are going to be failures. You're going to make some missteps. But throughout all of this, you have to keep pushing forward, pushing on, pushing through. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I do this podcast. I look at the insights from this podcast where I can see how many people listen to to this podcast and from where, what parts of the world that they're listening. I'm telling you now, whether I've got 1,000 listeners or whether I've got just one person is not going to stop me from pushing forward to make this one of the best podcasts to ever grace these sound systems. I promise you, I will push forward continuously, and that is a goal. This will be one of the best podcasts ever, but it'll never be that if I stop because I don't have the money to keep paying for the streaming. It'll never be that if I stop because I feel like I don't have the knowledge that other people that are doing this do. It'll never be that if I stop simply because one of the episodes doesn't have a lot of listeners. I have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. And here's another little nugget that I want to stress to you. There are some of you guys right now listening to this podcast, and you have goals. You have ideas. You have things that you want to do. But because of the fact that you have gotten stuck inside of this hamster wheel of movement, you're not pushing yourself in the direction that you need to. You have either gotten lost on the idea that you don't know enough, you've gotten lost on the idea that you don't have enough, or you started and you ran into something that caused you to stop. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I honestly don't have any idea what it could be, because all of you have your own gifts, your own talents, your own skills. But I'm telling you now, there's something that you gave up on that you probably should pick back up. It could be something really simple. Maybe you like just decorating your house. Maybe you like decorating your yard. Maybe you like fixing cars. Whatever the case may be, I don't know. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, you were a dreamer. At some point in time, you were an individual who had a large amount of ideas. And you probably had that one idea that you've always dreamed about your whole entire life, and you just never did it. Well, I'm telling you, you can do it. Will it become something that reaches the whole world? Who knows? But I do know one thing. If you don't do it, it won't reach anybody. So it is vital, man. If you've got this stuff in your mind, if you've got this stuff in your heart, if you've got goals that you've made, if you want to lose weight, get out there and lose weight. You don't have to lose 30, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. Just lose one, lose two, do something to get started. You want to be an artist? You want to draw? Draw. There's plenty of ways that your talents and gifts can be turned into great wealth, or maybe something that you do, some kind of goal that you have touches one individual. Is that not enough for you to say that you were successful in being able to help somebody? I'm telling you, movement means nothing if it is not turned into progress. You have got to get on track and push yourself in a direction that gets you in a situation where you are going to elevate from where you are now to where you truly want to be. That will give you the ability to move away from the stress of being caught up on the hamster wheel of movement. Well, that's all I got for you guys this week. I really enjoyed this whole managing stress thing that we've been on. It's been really cool. We're gonna round this whole thing up next week with our very first round table, where we're gonna get together with a few voices and we're gonna discuss a whole lot of issues. I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy it. So look, if you don't manage your stress, it will manage you. Take care. I love you guys. Hold it down. Peace.